First Contact and Deception. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the ESS Horizon, Earth's first diplomatic vessel designed for interstellar relations. Through the reinforced viewport, the crystalline spires of the Galactic Assembly's headquarters on Centaur Prime stretched toward the amber sky. The station's architecture was a testament to the advanced civilizations that had built it. Elegant, impossible, and utterly alien. Quite the sight, isn't it? Director Marcus Webb of Earth's Diplomatic Corps stepped beside her, his dark eyes reflecting the alien cityscape. Hard to believe it's been only 3 years since first contact. Sarah nodded, her hand unconsciously touching the neural interface at the base of her skull. Humanity's latest breakthrough in human-machine integration. 3 years since the Araxian ships appeared in our orbit, offering friendship and knowledge. The memory was still fresh. 12 crystalline vessels materializing above Earth's major cities, their peaceful approach and open transmission of greeting in perfect English shocking the world. The Araxians, with their bioluminescent skin and 4-armed bodies, had presented themselves as representatives of the Galactic Assembly, a confederation of spacefaring races dedicated to peaceful cooperation and technological advancement. The Assembly Council is ready to receive us, Webb's assistant announced, her holographic form flickering into existence beside them. As they walked through the station's curved corridors, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Maybe it was the way the other species, the crystalline Nexari, the insectoid Vespidae, and the energy-based luminary, seemed to pause their conversations when humans passed by. Or perhaps it was the subtle dismissiveness in their gestures, as if humans were children who had wandered into an adult's gathering. The council chamber was a marvel of engineering, a vast circular room with floating platforms for each member species. The human delegation was assigned the lowest tier, a detail Sarah noted with professional interest. High Chancellor Varix of the Araxians, his bioluminescent patterns shifting in complex patterns, addressed the chamber. We welcome our human friends to this historic session. Their species has shown remarkable adaptability and technological growth. Their integration into our assembly will benefit all. Sarah watched the other council members, noting how the Nexari representatives' crystalline forms seemed to dim slightly at the mention of human technological growth. The Vespidae's antennae twitched in what her xenolinguistics training suggested was displeasure. Later, in their assigned quarters, Sarah confronted Webb. Did you see their reactions? When Varix mentioned our tech advancement, Webb loosened his formal collar. I did. And I've received some concerning reports from our intelligence networks. The Assembly's been very interested in our neural interface technology. Too interested. The same technology they claimed was primitive during the technical exchange sessions. Sarah pulled up a holographic display from her neural interface, showing classified reports of assembly ships moving through supposedly restricted sectors near Earth space. Exactly. They're hiding something, Sarah. The question is, what? Webb's expression was grim. We've detected unusual energy signatures from their quantum communication networks. Our AI analysts suggest they're encrypting far more traffic than diplomatic channels would require. Sarah's suspicions crystallized into certainty. They're preparing for something. The friendly facade, the technological exchanges that only flow one way, the subtle segregation of human representatives. We need to be careful, Webb warned. If they suspect we're onto them, they already do, Sarah interrupted, showing him another holographic report. Our deep space sensors detected assembly probe ships testing our defense grids last week. They masked it as a navigation error, but the pattern was too precise. Then we proceed with Operation Silent Watch, Webb decided. Continue playing the grateful newcomers while we prepare for any possibility. Sarah nodded, her mind already running through contingency plans. Humanity had learned hard lessons throughout its history about the dangers of trusting too easily. They'd appeared to embrace the Assembly's guidance eagerly, while quietly developing their own technologies, building hidden fleets, and establishing secret colonies far from Assembly sensors. As they prepared for the next day's session, Sarah received an encrypted message from Earth Command. Project Phoenix is ready. Defense grid phase II complete. Colony network dark and secure. She allowed herself a small smile. If the assembly was planning to take advantage of humanity's supposed naivety, they would learn a harsh lesson about underestimating Earth's children. The neural interfaces they dismissed as primitive were just the surface of human innovation. Deep in classified facilities and hidden shipyards, humanity was preparing for any betrayal. The next morning, as Sarah watched the assembly representatives discuss trade routes and cultural exchange programs, she thought about the massive fleet of stealth ships being constructed in the asteroid belt, the quantum weapon platforms disguised as communication satellites, and the AI defense systems that made Earth's public military technology look like toys. Let them think us young and naive, she thought. If they choose to become enemies instead of allies, they'll discover that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our numbers. It's our perpetual readiness for the worst, our ability to adapt, and our determination to survive. As if sensing her thoughts, High Chancellor Varix turned his multiple eyes toward her, his bioluminescence pulsing in what was meant to be a friendly greeting. Sarah smiled back, playing her role perfectly while the neural interface in her skull silently recorded every detail of the assembly's security systems, analyzing their weaknesses, preparing for a day she hoped would never come. But if it did, humanity would be ready. The silent knife. Deep within the quantum-encrypted labs of Earth's Intelligence Division, Dr. Maya Rodriguez stared at the holographic display with growing concern. The data patterns flowing across her screen told a story that made her blood run cold. She had been monitoring the assembly's quantum communication networks for months, and what she found hidden in their encrypted transmissions confirmed humanity's worst fears. "Computer, run decryption sequence Delta 9 again," she commanded, her neural interface pulsing with the effort of processing the massive data streams. The AI complied, and the results remained unchanged. The assembly wasn't just monitoring Earth's defenses. They were actively mapping them for a coordinated strike. Lieutenant James Chen, Admiral Chen's nephew and part of Earth's covered operations team, materialized from the shadows of the lab. "Tell me you found something that justifies breaking into the assembly's quantum archives." Maya projected the decoded transmissions into the air between them. "Look at these energy signatures. The assembly's been using their cultural exchange ships to probe our defensive capabilities. Every friendly visit, every diplomatic mission, they've been gathering tactical data." James studied the patterns, his cybernetically enhanced eyes zooming in on specific data points. "These formations, they're planning to hit multiple targets simultaneously. But why now? Why show such friendship only to plan our destruction?" "Fear," Maya replied, pulling up another hologram showing Earth's technological growth curve. "We're advancing too quickly. The neural interfaces they dismissed. We've already developed them far beyond what we showed them. Our quantum computing capabilities are approaching their level, and our AI systems." She paused, letting the implications sink in. "We're becoming a threat," James finished. "Or at least, they think we are." Their discussion was interrupted by a priority alert from one of their deep space monitoring stations. Maya's hands flew over the holographic controls, bringing up the feed. "Assembly ships are moving into position in the Kuiper Belt. They're trying to be subtle, but our quantum sensors detected their dry signatures." James activated his secure comm link. "We need to alert command. How long do we have?" Maya's calculations flashed across her neural interface. Based on their current movements and the encryption patterns in their communications, 2 weeks, maybe less. They're waiting for something specific, but I can't determine what. In orbit above Earth, Admiral Chen received their encrypted transmission while in a meeting with assembly representatives. She maintained her diplomatic smile while her neural interface processed the warning. The assembly's delegation was proposing a joint defense exercise, a perfect cover for positioning their ships near Earth's primary defense grid. "A wonderful proposal," she said smoothly to High Chancellor Varix. We would be honored to participate. Perhaps we could schedule it for next month, after our planetary defense review. The High Chancellor's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what humans had learned to recognize as satisfaction. Why wait, dear friend? Our ships are already in position for training maneuvers. We could begin within the week. Of course, Sarah replied, her face betraying nothing while her neural interface sent encrypted orders to Earth's hidden fleet. We would be delighted. Of course, Sarah replied, her face betraying nothing while her neural interface sent encrypted orders to Earth's hidden fleet. We would be delighted. Below the surface of Mars, in facilities unknown to the Assembly, humanity's real military strength stirred to life. Quantum-shielded shipyards activated, bringing advanced warships out of their camouflaged berths. AI battle systems ran countless simulations, preparing for every possible scenario. Director Webb, coordinating from a secure bunker beneath the Pacific Ocean, received confirmation from Earth's secret colonies. All outposts dark and ready. Operation Shadowfall is in position. The Assembly thought they had mapped all of Earth's defenses, but they had only seen what humanity wanted them to see. For every visible defense platform, 3 more waited in quantum-shifted space. For every known military base, 5 more existed in classified locations throughout the solar system. In her lab, Maya made a breakthrough in decoding the Assembly's quantum transmissions. They're waiting for their new weapon platforms to arrive, she reported to James. Some kind of quantum disruption technology. They think it will disable our neural interfaces, leave us blind and confused. James smiled grimly. They still think those are the core of our defense systems. They have no idea about the biological quantum computers, do they? No, Maya confirmed. They don't understand that we've moved beyond machine-based quantum computing. The neural interfaces are just the surface. Our real advances are biological, grown rather than built. They're looking for electronic vulnerabilities that don't exist. As the Assembly ships moved into their final positions, humanity quietly prepared for the coming storm. In bases throughout the solar system, soldiers received their final briefings. The public remained unaware, going about their daily lives while humanity's defenders prepared to protect them. Admiral Chen stood at her usual spot on the Horizon's observation deck, watching the Assembly's ships move into position under the guise of the joint exercise. Her neural interface hummed with constant updates from Earth's true defense network. Let them come, she whispered to herself. Let them think us weak and unprepared. They'll learn what happens when you underestimate humanity's capacity for survival. In the quantum labs, Maya and James monitored the Assembly's communications, watching the knife edge closer to humanity's throat. But this time, the blade would find not the soft flesh of an unsuspecting victim, but the hardened shield of a prepared defender. The silent knife was falling, but humanity's counter. The first strike came during what was supposed to be a routine diplomatic ceremony. As the Assembly ships moved into formation for the joint exercise, their weapon platforms suddenly powered up, targeting Earth's visible defense grid. High Chancellor Virix's bioluminescent patterns flashed in triumph as he gave the order. But the Assembly's carefully planned attack hit only empty space and holographic decoys. Admiral Chen watched from the bridge of the Horizon as confusion rippled through the Assembly fleet. Their quantum disruption weapons, designed to disable what they thought were humanity's neural interface networks, found no targets to lock onto. Signal the Lazarus Protocol, she commanded, her voice steady. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses awakened. Ships emerged from quantum shadows, their hulls grown from living metal that adapted and regenerated. Defense platforms shifted into normal space, their biological quantum computers immune to the Assembly's electronic warfare. On Mars, James Chen led the first counterstrike. Squadrons of fighters launched from hidden bases beneath the red planet's surface, their pilots connected not through vulnerable neural interfaces, but through quantum-entangled biological links that the Assembly couldn't detect, let alone disrupt. All wings, execute attack pattern Phoenix, he ordered. The fighters moved in perfect synchronization, their organic quantum computers allowing them to react faster than any conventional system. The assembly ships, still reeling from the failure of their initial strike, found themselves surrounded by adversaries they hadn't known existed. In her lab, Maya coordinated Earth's electronic warfare response. "Activating quantum mirage networks now," she announced. The assembly's sensor systems suddenly filled with thousands of false targets, their carefully planned attack formations thrown into chaos as they tried to distinguish reality from illusion. High Chancellor Varix's voice crackled over the command channel, his usual smooth tones replaced by barely contained panic. "This is impossible. Their technology was primitive. We monitored everything. Humanity was ready to catch it." "No," Admiral Chen replied calmly, finally dropping the pretense of diplomatic niceties. "You monitored what we wanted you to monitor. You saw what we wanted you to see. Humanity learned long ago not to put all our trust in potential allies, or to reveal all our capabilities." The battle unfolded across the solar system. Assembly ships found their advanced weapon systems negated by defenses they couldn't understand. Their quantum-based communications were infiltrated and disrupted by Maya's team, using principles of biological quantum computing that the assembly had never considered possible. From his command center beneath the Pacific, Director Webb coordinated with Earth's secret colonies. "Launch the Phantom fleets," he ordered. Ships that had been hidden in the Kuiper Belt, disguised as comets and asteroids, began their attack runs. The assembly's carefully positioned forces suddenly found themselves caught between multiple axes of attack. James led his squadrons through the chaos, their organic ships moving with impossible grace. "They still don't understand," he commented to his pilots as they disabled another assembly cruiser. "They thought technology alone was enough. They never considered that we'd find a way to merge it with biology." The assembly's formations began to break. Ships designed for overwhelming force found themselves outmaneuvered by vessels that could think and adapt. Weapons meant to disable electronic systems proved useless against computers grown from living tissue. The careful plans of countless cycles crumbled in the face of humanity's unconventional approach to warfare. Maya's voice came through the quantum-entangled communications network. "Their encryption is breaking down. I'm reading panic in their transmissions. They're calling for reinforcements." "But," she paused, a note of satisfaction in her voice, "our quantum ghosts are disrupting their long-range communications. They can't coordinate with their home fleets." Admiral Chen watched as humanity's true military might revealed itself. The assembly had prepared to fight a conventional war against a younger, less advanced species. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that had evolved beyond traditional technological boundaries. "Send the final warning," she ordered. Throughout the battlefield, assembly commanders received the same message. "You came expecting to find an easy target. You found instead a species that has learned from every war, every betrayal, every challenge in our history. We offered friendship. You chose betrayal. These are the consequences." The biological quantum computers that powered Earth's defense systems processed combat data in ways the assembly couldn't predict. Ships grown from living metal repaired damage in real time, adapting their defenses to each new weapon the assembly deployed. Fighter squadrons moved with collective intelligence, their pilots linked in ways that made traditional combat doctrine obsolete. High Chancellor Varix's flagship, surrounded by Earth's Phantom fleet, finally powered down its weapons. Across the solar system, other assembly vessels followed suit, their commanders realizing the futility of continuing the fight. "Perhaps," Varix transmitted, his bioluminescence dim with defeat, "we should reconsider our assessment of humanity's capabilities." Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Perhaps you should. And perhaps next time, you'll remember that offering friendship while planning betrayal is a dangerous game, especially when your target has spent its entire history preparing for such possibilities." The battle for Sol was ending, but humanity's message to the galaxy was just beginning. "Underestimate us at your peril." The new order. The assembly's surrender changed everything. As the dust settled from the battle, debris from damaged ships drifted through space, while Earth's living metal vessels conducted rescue operations, even for their former enemies. Admiral Chen stood in the newly established peace conference chamber aboard the Horizon, facing not just High Chancellor Varix, but representatives from every major species in the assembly. The crystalline, Nexarian voice spoke first, their translucent form shimmering with unease. "We gravely underestimated your species. The integration of biological and quantum systems. It should have been impossible." "Impossible by your understanding," Maya responded from her position at the conference table. The young scientist had earned her place in these negotiations. Humanity has always excelled at achieving the impossible. We had to. Our history gave us no choice. The chamber's holographic displays showed the extent of the battle's aftermath. Assembly ships, once proud symbols of technological superiority, were being assisted by Earth vessels whose living metal gleamed with an almost organic iridescence. The sight was a stark reminder of how completely humanity had shattered the assembly's preconceptions. "Your deception was comprehensive," High Chancellor Varix admitted, his bioluminescent patterns subdued. "While we watched your neural interfaces, you developed something far beyond our comprehension. Why maintain the facade for so long?" Director Webb stepped forward, his expression stern. "Because humanity has learned hard lessons about showing all our cards. Every time we faced extinction in our history, we survived by innovation and adaptation. When you came with promises of friendship while harboring thoughts of conquest, we played our role while preparing for the worst." James Chen, fresh from commanding the Mars Defense Squadrons, added his perspective. "Our greatest advantage wasn't our technology. It was your certainty that you knew what we were capable of. Pride blinds, Chancellor. Your certainty of superiority became your greatest weakness." The assembly representatives shifted uncomfortably as footage from the battle played across the holographic displays. Earth ships phasing through quantum space, fighters moving with impossible coordination, defenses adapting in real time to every assembly tactic. It was a demonstration not just of technological prowess, but of humanity's fundamental approach to survival. "The terms of our new relationship are simple," Admiral Chen announced. "Earth and its colonies will remain independent. We will share our advances in biological quantum computing and living metal technology, but only with those who prove themselves true allies. Any future act of aggression against humanity will be met with the full force of our capabilities." The Vespida representatives' antennae twitched. "And what of the assembly itself? Our structure, our hierarchy, will need to change," Chen finished. "The age of deception and hidden agendas ends now. Humanity joins the galactic community, not as supplicants, but as equals. Those who cannot accept this new reality will find themselves isolated from the advances we're willing to share." Maya's quantum sensors detected the ripples of discussion spreading through the assembly's networks. Species that had stood apart for millennia were suddenly reconsidering their positions. The demonstration of humanity's capabilities had shattered more than just military assumptions. It had broken the assembly's entire paradigm of technological development. "There will be resistance," High Chancellor Varix warned, though his tone carried a note of resignation. "Many will not easily accept such a dramatic shift in the galactic order." "Then they will learn what you have learned," James responded, his organic quantum implants gleaming. "Humanity doesn't seek dominion. We never have. But we will not bow, we will not submit, and we will not allow ourselves to be vulnerable to betrayal again." The conference chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Through the viewport, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the black of space, its orbital defense networks now visible to all. Not as a threat, but as a promise. Humanity would defend itself, no matter the cost. "Your ships," the Nexarian voice observed, watching an Earth vessel's hull ripple and heal from battle damage. "They're not just machines, are they? They're almost alive," Maya confirmed. "As is much of our technology now. We learned to stop fighting against nature and instead work with it. Our computers don't just process information, They grow, learn, and evolve. Our ships don't just follow commands. They understand intent and adapt to circumstances. Admiral Chen stood at the chamber center, her presence commanding attention. The galaxy stands at a crossroads. The old order of deception and power politics ends today. In its place, we offer something new: genuine cooperation, true exchange of ideas, and mutual respect. Those who choose to join us in this new era will find humanity to be the allies you should have been to us. Those who cling to the old ways, she let the statement hang unfinished. The message was clear. Humanity had revealed itself not just as a military power, but as pioneers of an entirely new approach to civilization itself. The integration of organic and artificial, the harmony of nature and technology. These weren't just weapons of war, but the foundation of humanity's future among the stars. As the conference continued, ships from Earth's hidden colonies emerged from their quantum shadows, taking up positions throughout the solar system. They were no longer hidden weapons, but visible reminders of humanity's resolve. The Assembly's failed attempt at conquest had achieved something its members never intended. It had forced humanity to reveal its true strength, not just in weapons and technology, but in its unwavering determination to survive and thrive. A new dawn. 5 years after the Battle of Seoul, the galaxy had changed in ways few could have predicted. The Great Hall of the new conclave on Mars hummed with activity as representatives from across known space gathered for the 5th anniversary of the Transformation Accords. The chamber itself was a testament to humanity's new philosophy. Its walls were living crystal, pulsing gently with quantum-encoded information, while the air itself seemed alive with holographic data streams. Admiral Chen, now Earth's primary representative to the conclave, watched as Maya demonstrated humanity's latest breakthrough to an eager audience of multiple species. The young scientist had become a symbol of Earth's approach to advancement. Brilliant, innovative, but always focused on harmonious progress rather than pure technological achievement. The integration is complete, Maya explained, showing how biological quantum systems could now enhance the natural abilities of any compatible species. This isn't about replacing what you are. It's about becoming more of what you already are. The Nexari delegation, their crystalline forms now subtly altered by adapted human biotechnology, sparkled with interest. They had been among the first to embrace humanity's innovations, discovering that living metal and biological quantum systems could enhance their natural crystalline properties in ways they had never imagined. Even the Vespidae, once among the most skeptical of human methods, had found that organic quantum computing complemented their hive mind consciousness, allowing for deeper and more meaningful connections among their people while maintaining individual identity. James Chen, promoted to commander after the battle, entered the chamber with news from the frontier exploration teams. The first joint expedition has returned from the Galactic core, he announced. The biological quantum drives performed beyond expectations. We've mapped regions that were previously impossible to reach. High Chancellor Varix, who had chosen to remain as a bridge between the old assembly and the new order, observed the proceedings with his bioluminescence reflecting a complex mix of emotions. We sought to prevent humanity from becoming too powerful, he mused to Admiral Chen. Instead, we forced them to reveal how powerful they truly were. And in doing so, they lifted all of us higher than we could have reached alone. That's always been the difference, Admiral Chen replied, watching a species that had once plotted against Earth now work together in genuine collaboration. You saw power as something to be hoarded and controlled. We saw it as something that grows stronger when shared. Director Webb, his position now expanded to coordinate interspecies cultural exchange, joined them. The latest reports from the adaptation teams are promising. 27 species have successfully integrated some form of biological quantum technology into their civilizations. Each adaptation is unique, suited to their specific biology and culture. The Great Hall's living walls pulsed with data from across known space. Earth had kept its promise. Those who proved themselves true allies gained access to humanity's innovations. But these weren't simply handed over as completed technologies. Instead, humanity taught others to understand the principles behind their breakthroughs, encouraging each species to develop their own path forward. We've received the first transmissions from the Andromeda expedition, Maya announced, her excitement visible. The joint mission, crewed by members of 12 different species and utilizing humanity's biological quantum drive technology, had achieved what was once thought impossible: practical intergalactic travel. The chamber erupted in celebration, but Admiral Chen noticed something more significant. The joy was genuine, shared equally among all species present. The old hierarchies and hidden agendas of the assembly era had given way to something new: true cooperation born of mutual respect and shared achievement. There are still challenges ahead, James reminded them during a quiet moment. Some of the outer systems remain resistant to change, clinging to the old ways. Let them watch and learn, Maya responded. Our strength was never in forcing others to accept our way. It was in showing them a better path and letting them choose to follow it. As the celebration continued, Admiral Chen found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. The Assembly's attempted betrayal had been intended to prevent humanity from becoming too powerful. Instead, it had revealed humanity's true power, not just their technological achievements, but their fundamental approach to existence itself. The living metal ships that now patrolled Earth's space were no longer weapons of war, but symbols of a new age. Their ability to adapt and heal had become a metaphor for the galaxy itself. Different species learning to work together, grow together, evolve together. We have a saying on Earth, Chen told the gathered representatives. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Look around you. Every species here has contributed something unique to our shared advancement. We are all stronger together than we ever were apart. The holographic displays showed scenes from across known space. Nexary crystal cities incorporating living metal to create structures that thought and adapted to their inhabitants' needs. Vespidae hive minds expanded and enhanced by biological quantum networks that preserved individuality while strengthening community bonds. Even the energy-based luminary have found ways to use human innovations to stabilize their form, allowing for deeper interaction with physical species. High Chancellor Varix's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what humans had learned to recognize as profound understanding. We thought we were protecting the galaxy by containing humanity's growth. We could not have been more wrong. In trying to clip your wings, we forced you to show us all how to fly. The new conclave session concluded with the announcement of the next great project, a collaborative effort to explore the space between galaxies using technologies that combined the best aspects of all participating species. It was no longer about human innovation alone, but about how each species could contribute to a greater whole. As the representatives filed out of the chamber, Admiral Chen remained behind, watching Earth rise over the Martian horizon through the hall's transparent ceiling. The planet looked different now, its orbital structures a blend of technologies from a dozen worlds, all working in harmony. Ready for tomorrow's challenges? Maya asked, joining her at the viewport. Chen smiled. Always, because now we face them together, not as rulers or subjects, but as equals united in the greatest adventure our species have ever known. The living walls pulsed one final time, recording another historic day in humanity's journey among the stars, not as conquerors or victims, but as teachers, students, and partners in the ongoing story of life itself.